God removed them from your life for a reason, even if you don't understand it yet, even if it hurts, even if it left you confused, broken, and questioning everything. Because sometimes what feels like a loss is actually protection. You gave your time, your energy, your loyalty. You showed up for them when no one else did. You supported them, believed in them, stood by them, and somehow they still walked away, or maybe they didn't walk away. They changed, they became distant, cold, unrecognizable, and now you're left wondering what happened. Where did it all go wrong? Why did this end when it felt so real? Why did God allow this if it wasn't meant to last? You replay the memories, the conversations, the moments that once meant everything, trying to find answers, trying to understand why something that felt so right ended the way it did. And deep down, you wish things could go back to how they used to be. But what if God removed them because they were no longer aligned with where you're going? What if their presence was blocking your purpose? What if holding on to them was holding you back? Because not everyone is meant to go with you into your next season. Some people are temporary, some people are lessons, some people are assignments that come into your life to teach you something and then leave. But when you're emotionally attached, you don't see it that way. You hold on, you try to fix it, you try to make it work, even when everything is falling apart, even when the signs are clear, even when your spirit feels it. This isn't right anymore. Because letting go is hard, especially when you've invested so much, especially when you've built memories, feelings, and hopes around that person. But just because something felt good doesn't mean it was meant to last. And just because you love someone doesn't mean they're good for you. Sometimes God sees what you don't. He sees the conversations you're not around to hear. He sees the intentions you can't see. He sees the future you're not aware of. And he knows who can go with you and who can't. So he steps in. And sometimes he removes people, not to hurt you, but to save you. Because if he allowed them to stay, they might have delayed your growth. They might have distracted you from your purpose. They might have led you down a path you were never meant to take. So instead of explaining everything, God removes them. And it feels sudden. It feels confusing. It feels painful. Because you don't see the full picture yet. But one day, you will. One day, you'll look back and realize why that relationship didn't work, why that friendship ended, why that connection had to be broken. Because where God is taking you requires a different environment, a different mindset, different people, people who align with your growth, people who respect your journey, people who don't drain you but add to you. Because the wrong people will keep you stuck. They'll keep you in cycles you were meant to break. They'll normalize things you've outgrown, and they'll limit your potential without you even realizing it. So God removes them, not because you weren't enough, but because they weren't right. Not because you failed, but because He has something better, something healthier, something aligned with your purpose. But before you receive that, you have to release what no longer belongs in your life. And that's the hard part, because letting go feels like losing. But sometimes losing people is actually winning your peace, winning your growth, winning your future, because you can't move forward while holding on to what's behind you. You can't step into your next level while carrying what was meant to be left behind. So if God removed someone from your life, trust Him, even when it hurts, even when you don't understand, even when you miss them. Because what God removes, He replaces, not always immediately, but always intentionally, with something better, something healthier, something aligned. So don't chase what walked away. Don't beg for what God removed. Don't reopen doors He closed for a reason, because every removal has a purpose. Every ending has a reason, and every separation is leading you somewhere greater. So let go. Trust the process, trust God's timing, and trust that where you're going is better than where you've been.